Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Inner Shift Studio. This is Gayathri Balaji, a handwriting development coach, a graphotherapist, and an NLP practitioner here. Today is a little special for me, personally special, and I will tell you why in just a moment. We have had two incredible conversations on this space, but today's guest is someone who, when I spoke with, I immediately felt this woman has lived, not just existed, not just managed, but truly, fully, beautifully lived. She's a classical dancer who's been in love with movement since she was 4 years old. She's a Hindustani musician. She has stood in front of television cameras and taught an entire city how to cook. Actually, she holds a master's degree in English literature, a diploma in marketing management, and an MBA from one of the most respected institutions in the country. She's built and run her own business for 20 years now, and not in a field anyone would have predicted for her. She's the Joint Secretary of the Temple of Fine Arts, Shivanjali, Coimbatore, a cultural institution that carries the soul of the city. She's been recognized as Woman Achiever of the Year by the Indian Express. She's received the Women Center Award for her contribution to culture. She runs a welfare center and she's part of Annalakshmi, a well known restaurant in Coimbatore, a mother, a partner, an artist. And if all that were not enough, she shares my name. I don't think this is a coincidence. I think the universe has a sense of humor and occasionally a very good sense of timing. So when I say I'm genuinely honored to have her here today, I mean that in a way that goes beyond hospitality. There's something about sitting across from a woman who has done so much and still carries herself with such warmth and groundedness. It makes you want to sit up a little straighter and dream a little bigger. Let me welcome with all the warmth this space has Mrs. Gayathri Prakash. Welcome to the Inner Shift Studio, ma'am. Welcome, welcome.
Hi,
Welcome,
namesake. Hi, namesake. Hi, Gayatri.
ma'am. Thank you for being here, ma'am. And before I throw my questions at you, I promise I have many. I just want to give this moment to you. Just no structure or agenda. Just how are you feeling right now, ma'am, being here today? And if there's anything you want to say to the people listening before we begin, this space is entirely yours, ma'am.
Well, first of all, this is a very new, enriching experience for me. I've been very excited to be a part of this platform. Something new is always very beautiful. An initiative and to be a part of something from the beginning is always very beautiful. You feel later that you're a part of something that mattered. And I think this is the message that I would like to share with everybody that you don't hold back, don't be afraid. Seize life with both hands. In fact, if you have four, five, six hands, seize it and make use of every opportunity. Mistakes are a part of a learning process. There's nothing known as failure, they're just lessons that we learn about later. And from a lady's point of view, as a woman, I just like to share that you are very, very integral to the map of humanity. You sometimes don't realize the definition and meaning that you give it. So sit up and realize it and enjoy it.
Thank you
This
so
I'd
much.
like to share.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, ma'am. And now I have so much I want to ask. Let's begin. So before we begin, I want to say something, ma'am. We share the same name, and I feel like this conversation was meant to happen. So let me start from the very beginning. When you think about the little girl who started learning dance at the age of 4, what do you remember most about her, ma'am?
Well, I see at that age, I remember my parents being very encouraging. They were very keen that I take an art form, and they'd taken me to see this dance class. So, literally, I objectively remember this girl watching that dance class and saying, "Hey, I think I would like to do that." So, it was a very fascinating moment watching that synchronized movement. I think you realize there's a rhythm, pattern, Those are the things that hit me first when I saw that class.
Okay. So you all that image of a 4-year-old already finding her language through movement. I think that little girl never really left you, I guess, ma'am. Did she? She just grew bigger, I guess, isn't it, ma'am?
She grew. She grew. Yes, she did. And yeah, I would like to think that that 4-year-old's, that moment of discovery, I would like to think that is with me because everything new is a discovery, and I think we should enjoy the discovery. So
True,
I'd
ma'am.
like to think it's a lovely way of putting it that that 4-year-old is still inside.
Yeah, the child is always inside us, isn't it, ma'am?
Yes.
So the inner child, we should always savor that inner child that's there within us. So that's what keeps us moving, I guess. And as I read in the profile, ma'am, you worn so many hats in your life. I was surprised, like, what, how many can she wear like this? Artist, an entrepreneur, an academician, homemaker, community builder. So when someone asks you, who are you? What do you say first, ma'am?
Well, first of all, I'm Gayathri Prakash. I'm Gayathri Prakash. What has happened or evolved in my life is a lot of happenstance. I wouldn't say I planned everything very well. Unlike this generation, one thing you really have to appreciate, they have their map very clear.
True.
They make use of the information available and they have this map that they map themselves. Honestly, I did not do that. But I've been very fortunate. I think God has thrown very beautiful opportunities my way. And I was fortunate to see some of them, and they kind of made me what I am. I've always been very fond of learning. It's not just studying. I think I've liked this concept of learning, and I don't think we should ever stop learning. So, in that category, I've been very lucky. My parents, my husband, my son, they encourage me to learn. I think it keeps me out of their way also. But this learning has led to a lot of new paths, and well, I do have multivarious interests, but I've been lucky that I've been able to do a lot in each of them.
Okay. So as I love that, ma'am, because most people lead with their title or their qualification. The fact you, like you paused and said, like everything, like I feel like that tells us everything about how deeply you have lived. As I said, you've just lived your life, I guess, ma'am. That's so beautiful to hear from you. So learning, you didn't stop learning at any age, whatever be. So that's amazing, ma'am. I love that. I love that. And you completed your master's in English literature, then a diploma in marketing management, and then an MBA from Jamlal Bajaj. That is a remarkable academic journey, ma'am. What were you searching for through all of that?
Well, actually, when I did my BA in English literature from Krishnamal College, and I'm very lucky my parents allowed me to pursue my passion. I really loved English. I had this journey and probably a eureka moment. You understand what is happening, and then that is your subject. So
True.
immediately after that, I got an opening with Welcome Group of Hotels. So
Okay.
I started working. It
Okay.
was that which made me realize that I need to qualify more, move on in a journey, because otherwise you become just static. So at
True.
that point, initially I joined my diploma in marketing management with the Bharat Vidya Bhavan in Coimbatore. It was their first batch.
Okay.
And there I met this professor called Dr. Swami. I will never forget him in my life. He was not only very encouraging, he was an excellent, he's one of those teachers who are born to teach and a
Mm.
qualified lawyer. He had come in from Bombay
Okay.
and he kept telling me that you should do more, you can do more. So when you have somebody who is giving you this kind of motivation, that made me explore the program at Jamnalal Bajaj.
Okay.
And initially, he also said a post graduation will always help.
Mm.
So I did that by post. I did it from Mysore University.
Okay.
So you were able to do things simultaneously. And Jamnalal Bajaj for me was a step I took because of Dr. Swami. I dedicated totally to him. And initially, my interest was marketing. But somehow I felt that the master's in administration had a paper in marketing as well. So I chose the admin because I felt that a broader ground was covered, newer subjects, more areas, which would later probably be useful. So
Mm.
I moved into the administrative field and went in for
Okay.
that.
So
That's how
thanks to
my
Mr. Swami, I guess like he's been
absolutely.
a mentor and a guide for you, and thank you for being here in this space, ma'am. Because of him, you've diverged into so many things. And education was not
Absolutely.
just about a degree for you, it was understanding, I guess, the world in layers. And it sounds like every qualification opened a different door for you, isn't it, ma'am?
I guess that is definitely true, which is why I advocate learning at every stage for everybody.
Mm.
True learning definitely is very, very illustrative. And at each level, if you're very sincere about it, you will find something that you really like, you'd like to follow through. And in life, also, it teaches you a lot of lessons. Like, very honestly, administrative management, more than my office, it has helped me in the house and the family.
Okay.
This is something very, very nice for me. But this is the world it opened up in terms of relationship planning, how I
Mm.
could work with my time. You have to give time to everything. You're part of a family. You cannot run
Mm.
away from that. You
Yes,
have
ma'am.
your responsibilities. I had my son when I was doing this course in Bajaj.
Okay.
So managing a child, managing the house, it's all our responsibility, and it becomes very pleasurable if you plan it right and don't stress yourself out.
Well
So
said, ma'am.
there, my degree in administration really helped. It
Yeah,
really helped.
I love the way you're bringing the learning into administering the home. Usually it's like the other way around, like people don't put it to practice like this way. They take it to a job or a company. But I love the
Yes.
way you're putting it to practice at home as well. Yes, of course, I do understand how it brings a kind of organized way we do things, even at home, at simple tasks that we do. The mindset becomes that way, I guess, ma'am. All that learning, the way you said true learning, yes, we need to have that true learning, not just learning. And thank you for saying that, ma'am. I'm sure many of them who are watching it will take this, that word true prefix before you, that learning part, and they will
Yes.
take it into their lives. I'm so happy. And the Temple of Fine Arts in Shivanjali in Coimbatore, for those who may not know, ma'am, can you tell us what that space means to you, how it all began, and what you offer in Shivanjali, ma'am? And here's something I'm letting you know, ma'am. I've been a student of Shivanjali as a student of violin during my college days, and I never imagined we would be sitting across one day in a beautiful conversation like this. And I would also like to know if you offer any online courses in this digital platform as well, ma'am, because there is a selfish motive behind this question because it's for me to continue my violin journey. And please share your insights about age and music, ma'am. If a middle-aged woman wants to pursue some art form, it could be vocal, instrumental, whatever it is. What is your take on it? So, in general, about Shivanjali and about this, ma'am.
Yeah, I really welcome this opportunity because Shivanjali, the Temple of Fine Arts, is like my passion, food for my soul, and I'm very blessed because we it all emanated from our guru. His Holiness Swami Shantanand Saraswati is the name of our guru. He was a disciple of Swami Shivananda of Rishikesh, the Divine Life Society. So Swamiji moved in, to his life is so beautiful. We need probably three interviews. But in a capsule, he moved around to many places, and wherever he touched, groups formed around him.
Okay.
So we have these centers in Coimbatore, Chennai, Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, and we have pretty identical activities going on there. One of them is the Temple of Fine Arts. Then we have a hospital, a charitable hospital that gives
Okay.
care. A very, very deep, loving, clean care is given to those who need it. Then
Okay.
the Annalakshmi hotels are part of the trust activity as well. Then we have a lot of smaller activities. We have a craft shop, which we have a women's welfare center in Coimbatore, where marginalized women are taken in and trained in various art forms,
Okay.
embroidery, handwork.
Mm.
And for those whose hands and eyes are not that sharp, we have the traditional spices, sambar podi,
Okay.
the murkas. These are
Mm.
all made. So our outlets move their products.
Okay.
That
That's
is the way we move. And in Lavanya, a craft shop, handicrafts from all over the world take a place. Because
okay.
again, our guru believed that all art forms should have a proper frame.
Mm.
And this is how the Temple of Fine Arts came into being in Malaysia in the year 1982. In
Okay.
Coimbatore, 1986.
Okay.
Uh, it was very simple. What happens is the performing arts is slowly becoming the property of, you have to be a bit well off to pursue the arts. It is
Mm.
like that. But our guru believed that anybody who wanted to learn a performing art should have the platform.
Mm.
And he opened the Temple of Fine Arts with this in mind. Our motto goes art just for the love of it.
Mm.
Anybody who has got a yearning to learn. And this is where the age factor comes in. We only have an intake minimum age of 3 for our Balavihar classes.
Okay.
We do not have a upper age limit at all
Okay.
because there is no limit to wanting to learn and wanting to have fine arts in your life. Now, if
True.
you're looking at something physical like dance, you have a limit to probably your performing age, but no
Mm.
limit to your learning age. You
Yeah.
should learn for yourself and put that time aside for yourself.
Mm.
Music, there's no limit whatsoever. You can learn at any point and you can continue to learn. We do offer online courses
Oh,
now. You have
that's
to keep
great,
up
ma'am.
with the digital age. So, again, starting from Balavihar, every
Mm.
one of our classes, we have online classes. Certain subjects, it's difficult to start. We don't have beginner
Mm.
levels for things like tabla and sitar, where even the sitting posture has to be learnt.
Yeah.
But vocal, violin, guitar, dance, we have online sessions.
Thank you,
We
ma'am.
do.
Thank you so much. It sounds
Looking
like
forward to having you back.
thank you, ma'am. We'll be there soon. So it sounds like the organization is not just work for you. It's calling for both you and your husband, I guess, just an answer together. And for those of you who'd like to connect with Shivanjali for yourself or for anyone in the family, I'm sharing the details in the description for you to stay connected and uplift your cultural journey at any age. As ma'am said, there is no upper age limit. So please proceed with your learning if you had stopped anywhere midway. So, and create a journey for yourself because there is no age limit for any art form for that matter, I guess. So, there's something about classical dance that teaches discipline, isn't it, ma'am? Emotion, storytelling, all at once. And what has dance taught you about life that no ever classroom could teach you?
Dance is a very demanding partner. Once
Mm.
you allow dance into your life, like I spoke about true learning, if you are truly dedicated, dance is a little more demanding because it's a physical activity form. There's movement involved.
Mm.
There's no less discipline in vocal music. You have to dedicate yourself, your time, the practice. But in dance, what happens? There's a little more coordination, a
Mm.
little more a visibility involved in the art form. So a little more effort goes in as well. And well, that 4-year-old girl learned very fast that watching and being awed is a very easy experience. Getting in there and actually doing it is it's demanding, it's beautiful, and it's probably the most rewarding experience in my life because as you move, you begin a voyage of discovery. You find out that those, initial movements where your legs hurt
Mm.
create beautiful patterns. It becomes more involved. And from that, your whole body gets involved.
Yeah.
And with your body, you can tell a story. You
Mm.
can tell a story about just dance and movement. There are items where you just have pure dance, where for the sheer joy of dancing, to
Mm.
show how coordinated a machine your body is, you can
Yeah.
dance.
Yes.
And it's not just dancing, you need to feel the music and the rhythm inside. So, this is a very overall comprehensive experience that you're sharing with the world.
Mm.
And then later you come to things like a padam or a varnam, where an actual story is acted out. And here you have to remember it's larger than life. You're on stage.
Mm.
So it's like a three-dimensional, version of life that you are sharing with others. And over time, you realize that they react to you. So
Yeah.
you make them feel, you communicate feelings, and it mirrors back at you. So that is the kind of relationship between an audience and an artist,
Mm.
and it's beautiful. It's like waves on a sea. It comes to the beach and it goes back. It's something like that. What you're throwing out at the audience, it comes back to you in feeling, and not just rewarding. I think that reaching out, the communication, it's non-verbal communication.
Mm.
So you realize how finely you have to hone yourself literally and get those feelings ready to be shown. And at the same time, while you cannot waste an opportunity, you should not overdo it either. There's
Yeah.
a balance that you learn to maintain. A very learning experience, very
Beautifully
rewarding.
said, ma'am. Yes, beautiful said. I love the analogy of the waves and the beach. Like, love it, love it. And the way people respond to you, yes, that is what keeps an artist thriving. And all of us are looking for that validation and appreciation at some any point in our lives, isn't it, ma'am? And it sounds like dance has been your first teacher that way. And it's amazing, ma'am. The way you put it across, it's beautiful. You've been part of Shivanjali, the Temple of Fine Arts, and the institution that carries enormous cultural weight, isn't it, ma'am? What's the responsibility that comes with preserving and presenting Indian classical arts like in today's world, ma'am? How is it being with children, ma'am? Like providing them the cultural values for the upcoming generation, especially?
Uh, One word you used is extremely true, which is responsibility. Along with the pleasure, see, the fine arts is pleasure. It's the absolute bliss. It's happiness. There are a lot of things, but this is for me personally. Now, when it looks at what we have to do for the community and the students who come to us, it's an enormous responsibility that we carry. First of all, we owe them quality. When they come
Mm.
to us, what we teach them has to be genuine. When I talk about a particular style of dance, I have to deliver what is true dance and what is going to sustain them. In today's world, it is challenging because everybody is used to Maggie noodles. In 2 minutes, everything is ready. So,
True.
Anna Madri, we've had parents who come to us to ask when their children will be ready for the reality shows. We thank the reality shows because it makes them aware that music and dance is there in everybody's life. But
Mm.
this desire to learn fast is very difficult and it does not work. There is no shortcut to learning the fine arts or being a part. You have to go through that level in X number of years. There
Yeah.
are prodigies. There are
Mm.
prodigies, and it is a beautiful discovery when we find a prodigy. But
Mm.
even a prodigy has to undergo the same amount of learning. They can probably do it in a year where others
Mm.
take 3 years. But there's no shortcut to the learning that people assume. So, teaching them that fine arts is a patient art. We have to absorb, we have to practice, you have to put in what is required to get the result. This is
True.
something that we have to teach them, and we cannot compromise on the quality of what we teach
Mhm.
and what the students come out with. So this teaching process demands a lot. Our teachers are a very dedicated lot of teachers who they've totally dedicated their lives to the arts.
Mm.
So that team helps this responsibility take shape. And the plus part, of course, is those thousands of students that we've come across who they only illuminate our lives. There's no other word for it. There are always more ups. The random down teaches us how to handle things and, level like when life throws you a curve, you need
Mm.
to get around it. So
Yeah.
in that way, their outlook, their freshness, that enthusiasm that they all come in with, it's so contagious. I
Yeah.
think our lives are very much enriched because
True,
of
ma'am.
the students that we have in our lives.
Yes, ma'am. That balance, like staying rooted with the traditions while staying relevant in this era, is like it's one of the most important conversation, I guess, in the arts world right now. And it sounds like you're right in the middle of it, navigating beautifully. And as a handwriting development coach, like working with children between ages 6 and 17, I agree with you about saying like how in the proximity of children, their energy is so very contagious, ma'am. I really agree with that. So when I'm on a call with a child, like one-to-one call, after the call, I feel so fresh. Oh God. It's like, it's so contagious, the energy, the smile they come with. It's beautiful, isn't it, ma'am? It's so beautiful. And Hindustani music alongside classical dance, two very different disciplines, two very different inner worlds. How do you carry both, ma'am? Do they ever speak to each other inside you? And I would definitely don't want to disappoint my audience. Just can we have a few lines of any form of vocal music we would like to share with our audience? But just a few lines.
Hindustani music is a very beautiful version of Indian music. Just off the cuff, all Indian music before all our invasions was just one. It was one version. Today we call it Carnatic music.
Mm.
Okay, so later as the invaders came in, north of the Vindhyas, they stopped. So
Mm-mm.
nothing touched the south. It continues to be Carnatic music.
Mm.
Whereas north of the Vindhyas, we've had many, many influences. You've had the Mughals, you've had, so with all these influences coloring it, it came to be known as Hindustani music. The
Mm.
base, honestly, is the same.
Okay.
The way of rendering it and a few of the systems are different.
Okay.
And this is the basic difference between the two. So we've had a lot of interaction with Carnatic music where Bharatanatyam dancing is concerned. So when I came into Shivanjali, actually, our guru has this broad vision where any art form is beautiful for him. Any beautiful art form is brought into the Temple of Fine Arts. We
Okay.
don't have, so what you asked is a very relevant question. Because we do Bharatanatyam, we do Carnatic music. Because we do Carnatic music, we don't not do Hindustani music. We do Hindustani music.
Okay.
We have the sitar, we have the tabla, we have the mridangam. So
Mm.
in this environment, you learn to appreciate the beauty of every art form.
Mm.
And very honestly, it is this wonderful guru we have at the Temple of Fine Arts, Kedarji, whose love for the art is so obvious and so beautiful, you want to learn from him.
Okay.
It is such a simple thing, really. And the more you learn, the more you go for your classes. You would not miss a class at all.
Mm.
So, contrasting with Bharatanatyam, no, because in the Temple of Fine Arts, we do padams for Hindustani bhajans as well.
Okay.
Every art form will work around another art form if we allow it. If
Yeah.
we make them clash, they will clash. So it is in our outlook how we merge the most beautiful of every art form, we get more beautiful results.
That's
So
so
I have
good.
never had a clash between the two,
Okay.
but in the rigid world, there would be differences. There would be
Mm.
differences.
Yeah. So we segregate like Hindustani, North and South, and there is nothing, as
Yes.
you said, if you have the mindset to combine them both, it's beautifully, a
Very
combination of
beautiful,
beautiful.
very beautiful. We
Yes.
have programs here. We do huge programs every year.
Mm.
Last year, we did a musical program called Vyom. Vyom
Okay.
is, it means the inner space.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
Literally, we had an orchestra of 60 people on stage with various instruments and vocalists.
Wow.
So while our concept was space, the styles we used were Hindustani and Carnatic
Okay.
and Western also. We
Oh,
had a Western piece as well. We have a guitar department, a keyboard department. So when you see the elements, the artists were the same, okay? The vocalists are the same,
mm.
the styles they bring. So when we enjoyed the combination, the audience enjoyed the combination. So the barriers are very man-made.
Yes, ma'am.
The barriers are man-made. The beauty is universal. That was the concept of the whole thing. So
You
very
put it
beautiful.
so well, ma'am. Barriers are man-made, the beauty is universal. Yes. So that's amazing, ma'am. And can you sing a few lines for us? If it's okay with you. Just a few lines.
हमको मन की शक्ति दिए ना, मन विजय करे, दूसरों के जैसे पहले तुझको जय करे, हमको मन की शक्ति देना.
Wow. What an amazing voice and those lines. I love those lines, ma'am. So that image of music and movement in the quiet conversation, like inside you, I think that's what makes art whole. So one, like, it's so beautiful, ma'am, when you said, I love the way you're taking the conversation ahead. And now coming to a contrast part of you, you've done microwave cookery shows for leading brands on television channels. That's a very different stage from a classical dance performance. One would never expect from you, actually. What made you venture into it, ma'am? How did you feel to step in front of camera in that way? You've already been there on stages, but what did you discover about yourself when you got into this journey of?
Cookery has been an interest over time. I think we all grew up, you know,
Yeah.
liking to cook and sometimes having to cook. Both were part of our lives. And so I liked innovating recipes and finding new recipes. That was a passion that went side by side. And I'm from Kunur, so you like baking. You
Hmm.
tend to like the Western foods, the pastas, and it
Yeah.
is part of your lifestyle,
Okay.
salads.
Hmm.
So it just is a part of your lifestyle. So while this journey was going on, yeah, I like appliances. I like to go and look at appliances, a blender, whatever. So
Okay.
in this journey, I found a microwave. I went and found the microwave.
Hmm.
And initially, when I brought it home, I was also using it for reheating.
Okay.
Uh, and slowly, when you really look at the book that comes along with it and see the
Hmm.
things that you can do and think about the things that you can do with it, a lot of new ideas started coming in, a lot of new experiences, experiments, exploration. My husband and son are extremely cooperative. They were willing to be a part of any experiment. They suggested a lot of new things we
Oh.
could do with it. So while this was happening, you tend to talk to friends about it and
Hmm.
share, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So they'd come over and they'd watch me make it and eat it. And slowly, complete menus started emerging. A South Indian
Okay.
tenga sadam with an avi. You can do
Oh,
everything in the
wow.
microwave. A
Okay.
Chinese would come in. In the Madri, it kind of emerged and
Hmm.
all this started happening. So we had a lot of friends in the companies. There were Samsung, Onida,
Hmm.
Bajaj. There were a lot of them. So one evening, literally, they came home for dinner, and I made an quick upma in the microwave.
Okay.
It all started from that, and they said they found their customers also had to be taught how a microwave could be used. So
Hmm.
it began as a Saturday class. Their
Okay.
customers were given a free class, which I took, and how they could use it, particularly Indian cooking.
Hmm.
Because how do we make a rasam or a
Yeah.
kurma or a biryani in the microwave? It all began with that. So I had a 2 to 4 class every Saturday. From that, we just sat and spoke, and this idea of a local TV. And initially, actually, I toured. That was very funny. I did Pondicherry, Tirunelveli, Madurai.
Oh,
Because we couldn't do classes, they said they would call all their customers, and
okay.
their local channel came in to air the whole thing, from
Okay.
which the idea of doing this in Coimbatore every week came up.
Okay.
And maybe 3 years, 2, 3 years, 3 years I did that show here. And the response was great because we had calling in and people asking about it, and it evolved in a very nice way. And then, with all things, people started learning also that what they could do, and it became like that. The second part of it was my time commitments increased. So I was
Okay.
not a microwave cooking demo and a TV show. It needs at least 4 to 5 days work in a week. Unless you make it, try it, you cannot show it to people. So
Mm.
that kind of time commitment became difficult for me. And that was the reason I reduced the shows and the cooking classes. Even today, I have people call. I'm talking now 20 years later. People have saved my number and call
Oh,
up asking, asking for hints and what went wrong.
yeah, I would
That
love to
way.
have you back, ma'am. If at all you have the time, please. So the stage has never, like, it's just changed form, I guess. From the
Yeah.
dance floor to the television studio, the performer in you simply adapted, I guess. So that's so remarkable,
Yes.
ma'am. That's so beautiful. And, ma'am, microwave cooking in India is such a divided conversation, I guess, isn't it? You walk into one home and the microwave is the hero of the kitchen. You walk into another, and the family will look at you like you suggested something scandalous. There's always that one person, usually an amma or party, who always says, "Illa adula saapta odambukku agadu." No amount of explanation will change their mind. You've done cookery shows or for leading brands. You've been on the inside of this conversation. Like, where do you stand, ma'am? And for the people in our audience who are either curious or still on the fence, what are the things they should actually genuinely keep in mind when it comes to microwave cooking?
See, microwave cooking, one thing you must remember is it's an instrument, okay? How we use it determines the amount of usefulness that the instrument has for us. If you are
Mm.
going to keep it as a glorified heater for your food, you don't need it at all.
Mhm.
The second part is the fear, which is very genuine. A lot of fear is generated from what we hear and what we read as well, but not
Mm.
all of it is documented or proved as far as I'm concerned. I stand very pro microwave.
Okay.
For me, the process that was taught and what I've experienced is very simple. See, we rub our hands together and you find that the heat is generated.
Mm.
This is the principle of microwave cooking.
Okay.
Microwaves vibrate your food. There is no physical contact between a wave, the scary wave, and the food. There is no direct contact at all. The
Okay.
microwave that is released inside your oven makes your food particles vibrate.
Mm.
In that vibration, heat is created and it cooks.
Okay.
So, that direct alien contact, that zap from outer space, doesn't touch your food at all. So,
Mm.
that fear should go away initially.
Mm.
The second part of it is if you realize the don'ts in the microwave are very important. We should
Mm.
follow those very carefully. You'll realize then how useful it is. You should not use metal inside the microwave,
Mm.
which is directly opposed to conventional cookery on the adupu. The
Yes.
gas or the adupu that
Mm.
we use, the heat is through the vessel, the metal heats up.
Mm.
And therefore, your food cooks. That's where we have to be scared. That is contact cooking.
Mm.
The microwave is only vibration cooking. You can either use plastic or glass, which are literally only vessels, they're not conductors.
Mm.
So, your direct action is on the food itself. So, straight away, your fear should go away. You shouldn't
Mm.
worry about the wave touching your food. It's creating your food to vibrate in a real fast way. For example, just look at rice and water, arisi and tani.
Mm.
You put it inside, in the vibration, the heat is generated and the cooking takes place.
Yes.
So, this is the very simple principle of microwave cooking. Metal will interfere with that wave and then it will touch your food. You will find arcs
Mm,
coming in,
mm,
which is dangerous to the microwave, and any electric circuit should not be
yeah.
interrupted. That
Mm,
is something we have to be careful. If you steam the vegetables or non-vegetarian food, you'll find that the color is totally unchanged while the
yes.
food is cooked.
Yes.
So it's very beautiful to see as well, and you can control the extent of cooking. You
Mm,
can have it crunchy, you can have it soft. These are
yeah.
all things that you can do yourself with the microwave. There's a lot you can do with it.
Thank you for that answer, ma'am. You've taken my myths as well. I didn't have anything but because I do use it, but mostly, as you said, it's for reheating purposes, is what it's been used. So let me try something new with that, ma'am. And I think that's exactly the conversation that I needed actually, because the truth is not really about the microwave, was it? It was the trust, like trusting something unfamiliar in a space. Like we are all used to the conventional type of cooking,
Okay.
so the kitchen has always been the deeply personal, emotional, like kind of a thing. And what you are really saying is understand your tool. You respect the food, and the kitchen always will take care of you, I guess. Whether it's a flame or it's a gas or
Yes.
it's an invisible
Yes.
thing. So I want to add something here, ma'am, because this is very real right now, and I think it's important to say it loud. We're living in a world that is increasingly uncertain: wars, supply chain disruptions, global tensions. One of the quietest casualties of all that right here in our homes is the LPG. So cylinder that is used to come in like 3 days now takes 3 weeks. So subsidy that's made it management, it's all shrinking. So families are genuinely feeling that pressure in the kitchen like every single month, especially this month, I guess. That context, the microwave is not just a convenience anymore. It's a quiet
It
backup, I guess, isn't it, ma'am? Way to keep
is.
the kitchen
It's an
running when there's
extremely
still.
efficient backup. And the
Mm,
second part of microwave cooking is you have to equip yourself properly. For
mm,
example, in a traditional kitchen, we will never boil milk in the vessel where we make sambar.
yes.
So, like that, we have a dish for every single thing that we make. If you
Mm,
want to use a microwave like that, you have to provide yourself with enough dishes and equipment so that you
mm.
can use it for those various things. Otherwise, you're going to complain that your milk is smelling of sambar or your milk is smelling of the
True.
masala.
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
proper equipping of yourself is very, very important. And a lot of, see, little things, if we really put our mind to it, if you boil milk in the microwave, it will not boil over. You can control your time.
Mm, true.
Your rice is cooked and waiting inside. You don't have to worry about the pressure cooker or switching it
Mm,
off. So a
mm.
lot of conveniences are there if we use it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, definitely at this time and space where we are in, I guess definitely we need to look at microwave as a convenient option for the gas that I guess.
Conventional cooking,
Yeah.
yes.
So you've made the most practical case for the microwave that anyone has made in a very long time, ma'am. Thank you so much for these insights. And definitely, I'm sure people will definitely would want to explore that option as well. So listening to speak about microwave, ma'am, I keep thinking this is not just kitchen knowledge, years of research that you've done, experimentation and television experience and genuine passion, like all sitting in one place. It feels almost wasteful that it lives only in those television episodes and in your memory, ma'am. So I have to ask you, have you written a book on microwave cooking, ma'am? Because honestly, what you carry on this subject deserves to be held in someone's hands, like those dog ears stained with turmeric, passed from mother to daughter. Have you had any idea, or have you done it already?
Honestly, honestly, this is a promise I keep making, but I have not done it yet. I
Oh,
have those dog-eared papers of my recipes, which have not yet been put into a book, stained with turmeric. So probably there's a good opportunity to say that I will get down to it. I need to get down to it and
thank
put it
you,
down
ma'am.
properly. So I will do it.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful if it comes soon, ma'am. So because like everybody will have that, and because you cannot reach everybody now that you say your time and energy, like you can't be on the TV shows. And if there is a book, and it's a beautiful thing that I would genuinely call it, it's a science, isn't it, ma'am? So the science of cooking intelligently, efficiently without cooking, like, and you perhaps the most qualified person in the space to write it. So please, if not a book, if there's a part of you that has thought about it, thank you quietly, because sometimes the best books begin as a thought that someone else says out loud first, isn't it, ma'am? So let's just go with exploring that, and I would love to have it in hand. So I'm
True.
holding you to
First
that, ma'am.
signed copy for you.
I'm holding you to that, and I have a feeling the universe is also holding you there. Gayatri ma'am, I want to ask you something now that comes from two very different places inside me, actually, simultaneously. As someone who deeply loves art in all its forms, and as a handwriting analyst, which is essentially the science of reading the inner world of a person through the strokes they leave on paper, I've always believed that people who have they carry multiple art forms inside them very rarely stop at the visible ones. There's usually something quieter, something more private, something does not perform for an audience. And handwriting tells me this too. So, do you have a poetic sensibility? So, if I want, are you a lover of poetry? Have you written any, ma'am?
Written much earlier, up to
Oh,
college days and things like that. And I do write our scripts here when we do productions. And
okay.
I do love writing. I love creative writing. So I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right in that a visible art form is not the boundary.
Mm,
There has to be a lot of inner thought and inner discipline, inner beautification, a lot of churning inside before you're able to really bring it out as an art form. So there, I would agree with you. And lot of our senior dancers and musicians do have a bent for appreciating poetry. You have to.
mm,
You're either singing it or dancing it. So others' poetry, you do have it, and they
mm,
have a wonderful way of expressing themselves about their own items.
mm,
They package themselves very well.
mm, mm, mm.
That's true.
So, because the way you speak, even in conversation, ma'am, there's a rhythm to it. So, there's a cadence in how you choose your words, a deliberateness in where you pause. That does not come from prose, I guess. That comes from someone who spent time with poetry, actually. So, what do you write about, ma'am? Do you write for yourself or you have shared it? Because does the poet in you speak
Um,
the same language as the dancer, or are they two completely different voices?
no, I have basically poetry was written for schools and our journals
Okay.
and things like that. Our scripts I write for our productions because
Okay.
I generally do their MC or somebody reads out a script.
Mm, mm,
So it moved into script writing for what they are expressing, what we actually what we want the audience to understand.
mm,
See, we have to communicate something, but it's lost unless they understand what we're trying to say. So it's like a bridge between the actual performance and
mm,
communicating to that audience about what we want to say. So it's not always poetic, it's sometimes prose as well,
mm.
but it is communicating what we are trying to portray on stage.
Mm, 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 mm. Yes, ma'am. So there's need to say something like ordinary language cannot hold that. Like you need to translate it into something. So that's one of the beautiful things like I heard in this entire conversation because poetry and dance are really the same impulse, I guess, isn't it, ma'am? So one uses the body, the other uses the line. And I guess you have both. That is a rare combination. That's a very rare combination. And thank you, ma'am. So I would love to see a handwritten poem of yours someday, maybe along with a cookery book. Because
I
I'm
love
feeling,
it.
I have a feeling what your hand reveals on paper when you're writing from the heart would be extraordinary, ma'am. So I would also love to have a poetry book also. Consider like this, the first poem. It does not have to be perfect, isn't it, ma'am? Maybe it just has to be honest. So let's
Yeah,
see.
actually, perfection is a very overrated word because it's very, the perception of perfection is very different.
Mm,
What you consider perfect and what I consider perfect would be two different things.
yeah.
And again, today's perfection is a man-made concept. We don't allow things to flow and happen, which we should.
Mm,
And we are closing our minds to learning more things
mm,
by just this judgmental call about perfect or not
exactly.
perfect.
Yes.
this meter in poetry and this, that's okay as far as the classicals go, but like you said, honesty is far more important,
Mm.
and there should be some form of beauty to it, your feelings should come out
Mm.
in it, and you should measure your words. You should be careful about what you
Mm.
bring out, because once it's out, you can't take it back. So
Yes.
that you need to be careful, including what we write and what we say.
Mm.
Uh, that conveys a lot. So
Yes, ma'am.
perfection is as far as perfection goes, but I plumb for honesty. I would like
Yes, ma'am.
honesty.
So would love to see that as well.
too.
So to ask about this, ma'am, it's one of the most fascinating parts of your story, actually. 20 years in pest control. A woman with a master's in English literature and an MBA running a home pest control business for 2 decades. How did that chapter begin, ma'am? I have always had this notion of associating pest control and such business with a man. I don't know, somehow it's there in my mind. How did you get into this space, ma'am?
Oh, maybe I just wanted to break the gender bias. But honestly, again, like I told you, not everything's been very mapped or planned. Around 20 years ago, we were running a service center for Onida. My husband worked with Onida in Mumbai.
Okay.
So we were running a service center for Onida in Coimbatore once we shifted back. And in the process, a Godrej company was opening their pest control division, and they had a franchisee model. So they handed out a master franchisee in Chennai who knew us and said, "Why don't you take it up?" and things like that. So while we were thinking about it, they actually finalized with somebody else.
Okay.
And we said, okay, like it was not meant to be.
Not.
Within
Hmm.
2 days, I got a call back saying, you have to come because that person has let us down very badly.
Okay.
I Everything was ready for a center opening, except that the person who had taken it up had just gone away. They had decided not
Oh.
to do it. So it was partly doing somebody a favor as well. And partly again, we said, hey, look, we're learning something new.
Hmm.
It was that quest for learning, I think, that took me into that. So the training happened, excellent training. I cannot undermine the value of the training they imparted and the continuous support that that company gave. Godrej teaches you beautiful business ethics.
Okay.
Uh, as a business itself, leave alone pest control,
Hmm.
the kind of ethics and training we received, the support, so in 48 hours, we had a pest control center going in Coimbatore.
Okay.
Somehow
Hmm.
we never looked back. Right up to COVID, we were franchisees for Godrej when
Okay.
their business model changed. And
Hmm.
by then, one had absorbed enough and a strong customer base as well.
Hmm.
Where I also decided that it's time I started on my own. I think it was time that we stopped working for people and worked for ourselves.
Hmm.
And you find at that point you're ready to customize solutions. See, this is a service oriented process.
Hmm.
So you need to deliver what people need, not what you want to do.
Exactly.
This SOP is a word that is used a lot with service, and I ought to do this, I have to do
Hmm.
this. This is step. It's not wrong, but sometimes you have to combine, sometimes you have to modify, and when I'm on my own, I have the freedom to do that.
True, ma'am.
So that clinched the deal, and from the last 5 years, I'm on my own.
That's so beautiful, ma'am. And for people who would love to get in touch with Gayatri, ma'am, I'll share the details as well. So I think this is one of the most powerful things you've said today, ma'am. You wanted to break the gender bias. That's true. That's beautiful because it completely destroys the idea that a woman's background defines the borders of what she can build, actually. So you can just cross boundaries, I guess. That's beautiful, ma'am. And 20 years is not luck. That is consistency, systems, and trust. What has running your own business taught you about yourself as a woman, particularly like in a field that is not traditionally associated with women at all, ma'am? What has it taught you?
Well, the first thing I honestly discovered is I like solving problems.
Okay.
I like the challenge that it throws at me because everybody who calls me has a problem. They don't call me unless they have a problem.
Mm.
And actually sorting it out and getting them satisfied makes me very happy. And the kind of planning and we have to be very disciplined in your scheduling, your planning, punctuality as far as possible
Mm.
because it makes a lot of difference. Imagine if you're waiting for a service at 10 a.m. in the morning and the boy just does not come.
Yeah.
So these were the patterns that were happening in this field, and this was something that we found we were good at. We could
Okay.
schedule. My husband is with me 100% in this. So
Mm.
this kind of scheduling and bringing in punctuality, delivery systems, answerability, we give guarantees that we maintain. Like, for
Mm.
example, if a complaint comes into an
Mm-mm.
EMC, then I have to go and sort that out.
Yeah.
So, this kind of answerability and responsibility, I found the response from the customer is also very good.
Mm.
And even more so if there's genuinely a problem. Now, my boy is running late, and I call up a customer and say he's going to be late to your place.
Mm.
That pleases them more than, just
Yeah.
leaving them to
Mm.
wait. And so we found that we're able to build in and bring in systems and you need to be customer friendly. This is
True.
a big discovery I made in this field. You
Mm.
need to be sympathetic to their needs. You need to understand what they want. You need to listen to them.
Yeah. So it's like it's a beautiful place, isn't it, ma'am? Yes, well said. Like you need to meet the customer where they are. It's not like where you want them to be. So you go meet where they are and you walked into the space where you're not expected and you've stayed there for so long for 20 years. So that quiet confidence is something, ma'am. I think a lot of women in this audience are going to carry home that confidence in you just today and not just for today, I guess. And as a businesswoman, a wife, a mother, a cultural administrator, artist, how have you managed the daily reality of all these identities, ma'am, existing at the same time? So, what does a real day in Gayatri Prakash's life look like?
Uh, well, that actually I need to sit down and look at it because what happens, you just do your day. So my day begins around 7:30 in the morning with a regular cup of coffee. I cannot do without my coffee. If we are needed at the Temple of Fine Arts, we make an early visit.
Okay.
Otherwise, my morning goes to getting up for the day, planning for the day. Um, my 2 cents worth is planning for the day always helps. You have to plan, whether it is your breakfast, your dinner, or your 3 hours in the morning. You
Mm,
make optimum use of your resources when you plan a bit. If you can
well
plan
said.
well in advance, your life is like that, please do that. But at least day to day, make a plan so that you
Mm,
utilize your time and resources to the best. So, my 3 hours in the morning, what I do with them, whom I meet, where I go, this is very well planned. Afternoon is into your paperwork, the next day's schedules. This goes. Evening is 100% at the Temple of Fine Arts. There is
okay.
no deviation.
Okay. So it sounds like that has been your quiet superpower, I guess, ma'am, planning and execution. So it's not just stays with the planning. So just try to execute maximum of whatever has been planned, isn't it, ma'am?
Maximum.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just allow that little flexibility because
Yeah, you
things
have to
change.
have that. You just can't be
Things will
100%
change.
perfect like as on paper.
Yes.
Somewhere,
Yes.
something we need to give that space for that as well, isn't it?
See, only if you plan, you're ready to 100% deviate also.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true.
So, that plan is necessary, it's essential for me.
Yes.
And we work around that, how it
That's so
works.
beautiful, ma'am. So your husband is a chartered accountant and your son is an
Right.
audio engineer, daughter-in-law is into the teaching space, and you've built a family where each person has found their own distinct path. So how conscious like were you or is just happened in creating that kind of a space for the people you love, ma'am?
No, it was a very conscious decision where my son was concerned.
Mm.
My husband is the one who trained me for my MBA. Actually, you asked from English literature into
Yeah.
statistics and business analysis. He literally took tuitions. He tore his hair
Okay.
out,
Wow.
but the support was there. So our lines are different but supportive as well. Where
Mm.
my son was concerned, he has always been into music, and we belong
True.
to the parent era where your child was either a doctor or an engineer. Our
True.
children basically like
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
But our son was always very different, and
Mm.
partially thanks to my guru, because somehow when Anand was very small, my son is Anand Krishna.
Mm.
When he was 3, 4 years old, our guru just told us, promise that you'll allow him on his own path.
Mm.
This was a promise he took, and we found that Anand's path was very different.
Okay.
He was into music, he was into performing arts, he's a guitarist, and he did his visual communication. He had his own plan.
Mm.
And later on, he had shortlisted the audio engineering he wants to do, and it's again like a passion for him.
Mm.
So today we look back and we're very happy because his passion has become his profession. He's very
Mm.
happy and committed. If we had forced him into some other mold, he would be miserable. We would be miserable
True,
as
true,
well.
true.
So
Yeah,
his different line, we helped how we could, but a lot of it has been his own work. He
that's
found
it.
the channels he wanted because we didn't really know a lot about it. He took the
Mm.
trouble. It was a new line, emerging line,
Mm.
and he's a very happy audio engineer.
That's what we want out of children, isn't it,
Yes.
ma'am? So a
Yes.
family like where everyone is seen as an individual, not just a role like father, mother, son. That kind of parenting is rare and results are visible in the lives, as you said, around you. So that is what brings us the joy in us, isn't it, ma'am? So both you and your husband, like you run Shivanjali together. And what does it mean to have a partner?
We look after the Temple of Fine Arts.
Okay.
Each section has somebody looking after it. Our Swamiji attained Mahasamadhi in 2005.
Okay.
After that, the trustees govern it, but each department has somebody looking after it.
Mm.
And because people are so committed, we're very happy that things are going.
Mm.
Our leader was a very strong, dynamic, charismatic guru who we miss every moment of the day. But the kind of trust he has left, that it has to go on, his legacy has to go on.
Mm.
So one tries at that.
Mm-mm. So, do you ever disagree, both of you, ma'am? Like in
Oh, yes, we do.
love that honesty.
Oh, yes, we do.
Because most beautiful partnerships are not the one without friction. They're always the ones where friction produces something worth keeping, I guess. So,
Yes, yes. We agree to disagree. We are issues where we each have our own opinions, and
mm,
we have to thrash it out sometimes. We have to discuss it sometimes.
mm,
Ultimately, we try and take a decision which is best for the organization and the vision that Swamiji has shared. So that spills
that
over into everything. Yeah.
okay. So coming back to the awards that you have received, the Women Achiever of the Year award, the and from the Indian Express Women Center Award for contribution to culture. When you hold these recognitions, ma'am, what do you feel? A pride, responsibility, or something more to it? What do you feel actually?
I feel total gratitude to my guru because if not for him, I would not be where I am today.
Mm,
I'm not just talking of what I've achieved. Literally, I would not have this space with music and dance in my life.
mm,
My guru has made it possible, and the kind of involvement and things we are able to do is because of the backing that he has given us, the audacity we are able to come out with and do things an individual cannot do. A lot of things like
wow.
productions, commitment, the involvement in an institution like this.
Mm,
So because he has made it possible, I'm able to do things.
mm,
On my own, I definitely would not have been able to manage all this. So, total gratitude that I'm able to do this is the first feeling I always get. And the second feeling is that if this little bit that I'm able to do is recognized like this
mm,
little bit. If we are able to get 10 people to do more together, how much more
Yeah,
we could do? How much we could achieve as a society is immense possibility, immense
beautiful.
possibility.
Beautiful, ma'am. So that recognition that lands as a responsibility as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah, you did it because it needed to be done. The award simply, I guess, caught up with you. So that's a mark of a woman who's never done any of this for the applause. So thank you so much for being that person that you are, ma'am. It's lovely, lovely to see you. So, and as we are talking about it, women empowerment is a phrase we hear constantly. I want to ask you something more specific, ma'am. In your own life, what was that moment or the decision that felt most like empowerment? Not the award, the actual moment inside when you felt like something shifted in you.
I guess there were actually 2 points. There were uh, not incidents. There were 2 points I realized. My parents have always been very supportive
Mm,
through tough times and good times. They always encouraged what I did.
okay.
And my father has been a very strong presence in my life, a very strong support,
Mm,
who always made me feel that I could do whatever I wanted to do.
mm,
So this definitely empowered me because when I wanted to dance, he took me and got me to do it. When I wanted to do something in school or from school, he made sure that I did it. When I wanted to join English literature, he never questioned why. So
mm,
empowering me, my father backed me up so much that I felt very empowered from the time that I could realize that I want to do something, and my father is behind me. So this realization came that dad is always with me
mm,
and I can do things, I can do a lot of things. And I passed on to hands that were equally supportive, which has been a total blessing. We talk about when you get married, it is a
yeah.
different ball game. We
Mm,
move to a different family, different responsibilities. So many people just expect you to give up yourself
yeah.
and immerse yourself in the husband and the marriage and all. I walked into a husband's hands who took me straight to do my entrance exam for my MBA.
Oh, wow.
And
That's so beautiful.
he has been such a support. And I mean, over time, you really realize that he's not around. So I can really freely admit this. The kind of backup and support he took more than his share of responsibility at home,
Mm,
never made me feel that I was shortcutting anything at home or we were lacking anything. And you try more then. You
mm.
make sure that your
Yeah.
home is where your strength lies when you have this kind of support. And seriously, from the engagement days when he escorted me to my MBA exam, he babysat my son when I went to college. So, this go ahead and do it. What needs to be covered, I
Mm.
have your back. My husband did very comfortably. So
That's so beautiful.
I never
Mm.
felt the need to prove myself as a woman. They had my back.
Thanks
And
to those two men who have empowered you so well, ma'am. And thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Thanks to both of them for bringing you being this person that you are today, for
they
making you this person that you are today. Thank you so
absolutely
much for your
instrumental.
father.
And
And
my son, Touchwood, followed in his footsteps. He's very active.
okay.
But again, the care and he never made me feel like an absent mom or that makes a lot of difference. There's no guilt trip from the kid. Prina, you can go
Ah,
and do your thing. So
okay. So that's so
that's
beautiful, isn't it, ma'am? All
that's
three
support.
men, I guess, have been part of your life.
Absolutely.
That's a blessing that you have had, and let it stay with you, ma'am. And you run a welfare center under the umbrella of the trust, as you said initially, and Anna Lakshmi, the restaurant. These are spaces that feed people, ma'am, literally and culturally. So, what does service mean to you, and how do you distinguish between some people like confuse service and sacrifice? Like, how do you distinguish between them?
Sacrifice is a good word. It's a very beautiful word. It means that you go without something in order to give somebody something to be. So when you're contributing financially, you should sacrifice. You should push your boundaries so that, uh, like if you decide that you can comfortably pay 100 rupees towards something, pay 200.
Mm.
That is genuine sacrifice. And
Mm.
for me, it would be more material and financial.
Okay.
Whereas service is when you literally pull up your socks and go down there and do the work,
Mm.
which is a principle that has been encouraged here. You have to get out there, stand there, and do the work. In Annalakshmi, we have volunteers.
Okay.
So we all have gone through our phase of actually going and serving there,
Mm.
which is a very beautiful thing to do because you meet people, you explain to them what the principle of the whole movement is.
Mm.
You're in touch with them. You're actually doing the work.
Mm.
So that is the service concept of the Shivanjali Trust. You're actually there doing the work, touching people's lives physically. And that is the service, the karma that is being done through the trust.
Uh,
The
that's a
food we serve for Annadanam, our own members stand there and serve it. It is
okay.
not ordered through somebody and served through somebody. It's
Mm.
actually done there, and the members stand there and feed them.
Mm. 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 Mm.
So that is the kind of service that you
Yeah,
get out there
service
and do things.
service comes from fullness, I guess, ma'am, not from the depletion. And sacrifices, yes, of course, you deplete something from yourself. Like you sacrifice something, some part of it. It could be
Some part
financial.
of what you,
Yeah,
more than what you can give, more than
can
your
give.
comfort levels,
Mm.
that would be sacrifice. And we find that both are necessary. They're
So
two
just a
distinct
little about
things.
Annalakshmi, ma'am, like as we touched upon it, like what do you do there and how does it operate?
We have two types of Anilakshmis, both present in Coimbatore. One is the fine dine, which a lot of people are aware of in racecourse above
Mm.
Paramudil, where we want it to be a cultural experience. It's a very complete experience. You just சாப்பிட போலான்னு போகக்கூடாது. போய் அதை ரசிச்சு how it is served, how the process takes place, how you're looked after.
Mm.
The art of serving food is a caring experience, which
Yes.
we'd like our customers to enjoy. The quality of food has to be outstanding. They should carry the taste home with them.
Mm.
And it's not a commercial undertaking. Literally, it is served in the bhavana of a prasadam.
Mm.
For us, the guest is God. So they have to be looked after like that. Is the fine dine experience.
Okay.
Now we have another division which is called Eat as you want and pay as you wish. That is there in our Vadavalli branch.
Mm.
There is no difference in the quality of the food or the quality of the service.
Okay.
The only difference is no bill is given.
Okay.
You will, what your heart says you want to give, you have
Mm.
to give.
Okay.
And to us, our founder explained it very simply that in one, you really give them the five-star experience, and
Mm.
in the other, the soul that yearns for an Annalakshmi meal should get one.
Mm.
Nobody should feel I cannot afford an Annalakshmi meal or I cannot, for any reason, not have an Annalakshmi meal.
Okay.
So we have these two aspects of
So beautiful, ma'am. I've
Annalakshmi.
been there. I've been to both the places, and it's lovely to be there. Actually, it's an experience by itself. I would love for the audience who are here in Coimbatore, if you would love to, please visit Annalakshmi, and it's a beautiful experience. As ma'am said, you need to experience it to feel it actually. So, and coming back to the women, ma'am, of young women of today, someone who's talent, education, ambition, but is hesitating because she does not know which door to walk through first. What would you tell her?
My first message would be knock at every door. Knock at every door because sometimes what we feel is right could be wrong. You should never limit your mind to that one door because A, it could be wrong, and B, you could suffer a terrible disappointment.
Yeah.
So keep your mind open, and take your courage in your hands and knock at the door. Sometimes they hesitate to knock.
Mm-hmm.
Asking is very difficult.
Yes.
What we need to remember is unless we ask, we will not get.
True. Yes,
We
ma'am.
have to put the first hand out. You have to put your first step out. Go out there and do it. Anybody can do it.
Mm, mm,
So
mm.
once you knock at the doors, don't rush into anything. Give yourself the time to weigh
Yeah.
pros and cons. Try and take an informed decision,
Mm.
and then give your heart and soul. Go 100%.
Beautiful, ma'am. That's so beautiful. So yes, as you said, many hesitate to knock, like to ask. I've always feel, what are we going to lose by asking? Nothing. If they say no, it's okay. Well and good. No, you, that's an experience. Just learn from it. So, and you just knock it and see which door is best suits you, and then walk through it. Just that, isn't it, ma'am? That's so beautifully said. So I think you just gave someone in this audience the permission they've been waiting for, because they always wait for the permission as women, like they always wait for the permission, isn't it, ma'am? So you thank you so much for that, ma'am. You've lived across so many worlds: Mumbai, Coimbatore, arts, business, academics. Which version of Gayatri Prakash surprised you the most?
I surprise myself every day, okay?
That's lovely.
I surprise myself every day with
Okay.
because there's something new coming up all the time.
Mm,
And see, the logical, rational part of you always says weigh things. Like I just told you, weigh
yeah.
things, look at opportunities.
Mm,
But you do find one gush of reaction sometimes,
mm.
like when you discover a fresh watermelon ice cream. And you're like, hey, this is the one for me, you know. You don't
Yeah.
stand back and think logically at that time.
Mm,
You want it. So, like that, there are a few things that you come across where you instantly like it or dislike it,
mm,
in spite of this mind telling you think and
mm, mm.
think and rationalize. But there are certain things that you just take a like or a dislike to. I surprise myself with the speed of that sometimes.
Okay. So that gut instinct, like as we say, like you just go with it and you
Yes.
surprise yourself with it. That's so beautiful, ma'am. So, is there something you've always wanted to do, a dream, a project, a creative ambition that's still waiting for its moment, ma'am? Is there something like that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, I would love to hear that.
Dreams. See, we all, our dreams keep us going. You must have a dream. As you pursue it, you feel fulfilled, but you have the next thing you like. I don't
Yes.
think we can all say, the poor, I
Uh,
completely finished things. It doesn't work. For me, my heart is in pottery.
oh,
I am waiting for the time that I can go and do a pottery class and come out with that pot that I have
wow.
made.
So everything is about the making. Love that, ma'am. Love that it is still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
some dreams are not delayed actually. They're just ripening, I guess.
They are just
So we just need
ripening.
to give
Yes.
that time to for it to ripen. And something tells me when that lands, it will land fully. And I think the audience just met a whole new layer of you. I did see that. And I hope they carry it carefully, ma'am. I'm sure it's going to happen very soon. And now that we are nearing the end of the conversation, we're going to do something different now, a rapid fire. Just no thinking, no explaining. As you said, the gut instinct, and that's where I picked this from. So, just the first thing that comes to your heart, ma'am. Just ready, ma'am? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Your favorite South Indian or North Indian thali? One. Pick one, ma'am.
North Indian.
Okay, I thought you would go for South Indian, but you always surprise yourself and you surprise me also as well. So one dish that you could eat every single day for the rest of your life without ever getting tired of it, ma'am, what would it be?
Dosa.
Oh, okay. That's a surprise to me. I thought it would have been some comfort food like Tair Sadam or things like that. I was waiting for that answer. Again, a surprise to me. So, dance or music, if you had to choose only one for the rest of your life, which stays?
Dance.
Okay, okay, perfect. The one person, living or not, anyone in the world you would love to cook a meal for just to see their face when they tasted it, who would it be?
My Swamiji.
Okay,
My
okay,
guru. He was
okay.
such a connoisseur. He
Mm,
loved wonderful things. So when you made that perfect cup of coffee, when he sipped it, it
mm.
was really worth.
Okay, ma'am, that's beautiful. So, Gayatri Prakash at her happiest is, if you would love to complete the statement.
Reading a lovely book.
Okay, so again, reading. I thought I missed that part of it in the conversation, I guess. So you are an avid reader, is it, ma'am? So what kind of books do
Which
you?
avid reader. I read everything, even the potlams that are wrapped, I read that also.
That is so beautiful. Wow. I never expected that. That's all halfway through a newspaper, isn't it, ma'am? That's so nice. It's so nice. So, what's the book that you're reading currently, ma'am? And
I love Happily Ever Afters. I
mm,
love books because I think it's a kind of getaway that I read for. So I'm reading a Nora Roberts. I love
okay,
an author called Nora Roberts,
okay.
and I'm reading her latest book.
So, if at all you would suggest a book for in the audience, anybody who should not miss this book, please go for it. What would it that book be, ma'am?
Jeffrey Archer, Not a Penny More, Not a Penny Less.
Yes, I love that. I did read it in college, and again, once again, I read after some years back. Yes, definitely. That gives a lot of insight, and it's so beautiful, isn't it, ma'am? The twists that come, like it's beautiful.
Absolutely.
I love that book. I
Absolutely.
love that book. So, and this also came as a surprise, ma'am, because I thought you were going to go in for some kind of a motivation book like Seven Habits or Five Habits. I thought you were going to come up with something like that, but this was a surprise for me. Yes, it's so beautiful. And so every single of those answers told me something more about you, ma'am. Thank you for playing along and for being so beautifully completely yourself. And as we have near the end of the conversation, curious to know if your life had a title, like a book, as you said, or a film, what would it be? Can you just title the your life until date?
Mm.
The poet in you now needs to be awakened, I guess.
I
And
would
the
call it
avid
a
proclam
work in
reader.
progress. Work in progress.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes. That's perfect. I guess that's a perfect title, ma'am, because we need to put it on a wall somewhere. And because you always surprise yourself, as you said, and it's a beautiful title. I wish you could write your autobiography with that title, ma'am. Work in Progress is an amazing title, and everyone is a work in progress. So, as you said, like goals or dreams doesn't stop with somewhere. We can't just say I've completed everything, as you said, rightly said. We always keep dreaming, and we are always a work in progress every minute, every second of our lives. And thank you so much, ma'am, just not for this conversation, but for the way you have lived your life so loudly in all the quietest ways, I guess. You lived it loudly with the quietest way. So it's been a genuine honor. And to those watching and listening to us, that was Gayathri Prakash, artist, entrepreneur, cultural guardian, a mother, partner, and woman who's never once waited for permission. Thank you for being here, ma'am. And I hope each one of you listening had something you could carry with the rest of your lives, because I certainly did. And until we meet next with yet another interesting personality, this was Gayathri Balaji for you from the Inner Shift Studio. And every shift begins with a single stroke. What do you have to say, ma'am? How was the session, entire thing about?
Uh, it was a wonderful experience for me because, you don't always vocalize what you do. So,
True.
vocalizing it and hoping that somewhere somebody does something, listening, hearing, looking at, improving. They always can think of better ways to do things.
Yes.
So, just getting people going is a wonderful way of living life. And your program is definitely doing that. When you're going so in depth to somebody's life, you are inspiring others to listen and do something. Just working with you was a wonderful inspiration today because I'm looking at what I can do next. So, like that, if somebody out there would love to leave one more footprint in the sand of time, all the
Yeah.
best to them. Leave footprints. That's all we need to do.
That's beautiful, ma'am. Thank you so much, and deep gratitude for being here in this space and moment. Until we meet next, it's bye from both the Gayatris here. Bye, everybody. Take care and keep your dreams. And it's always a work in progress. Thank you so much.